Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany Werhner, a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And I have a wonderful guest, co-host, previous co-host of Beyond Clarity with me and a good friend of mine, Kirk Patrick Miller. We're going to talk about how it's okay to not be okay. And as soon as
Talk Radio Network.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werhner.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today, we're going to be talking about how it's okay to not be okay and ending the stigma on mental health. And as always, you can call in and leave comment or ask questions live on the radio or leave comments. We're on Facebook at Tiffany Werhner or MMC with Tiffany. LinkedIn Live on Tiffany Werhner, that's WERHNER, and YouTube, Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany, and on several radio stations. Before I formally introduce my good friend and guest, I'd like to say hi to Ed.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Hi, Ed.
Hey.
Ed, I had told Ed yesterday. So yesterday we were talking about grief and loss, and I told him that Kirk's coming on the show, and he had told me he was going to have props ready. Lay it on.
Let's see.
Who's here?
But you got your little baby Yoda. So for our virtual or audio listeners, Kirk is the father of a little baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. And on a previous show, we were talking about how Yoda's self-esteem must have been okay, but it's okay to not be okay. He's a Jedi, he can swing around that lightsaber like no one else, but having to say sentences backwards and not being as tall maybe as the other Jedis might have had an effect on his self-esteem, and then had an effect on his self-esteem, and it might have had what Yoda is what Yoda would say. But
Well, just past that though, but something I guess groundbreaking happened this week. Debuted on Disney with the new Book of Boba Fett that they tried it last year at the end of The Mandalorian with what do they call it? Age regeneration of Mark Hamill, which is Luke Skywalker, and it was a little fuzzy, but you're like, man, is that an actor that looks like him? Now they have perfected it. He looks like he's 25 years old in this thing. It's incredible, and they're just saying the whole industry is amazed. They debuted it this week on the Book of Boba Fett, but it's incredible.
For me yet.
Well,
I don't look like myself.
It's no good when you on here. It's fine, but if you're walking in the grocery store, it's not going to help.
I just won't be recognized.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I just thought that boy, if boy, that could really lift your esteem as an actor like that you're on screen again looking 25 years old.
I don't know. That could make some people sad. Like, man, I used to be young, and how time flies. And
well, I volunteer for the next one if they're looking for somebody, so I'll take it.
You'd be awesome.
You definitely know enough about it that they wouldn't have to train you on the whole.
I just thought it was incredible because I right after the show I had to Google and say what the heck is going on? Is this an actor? And they said no. They perfected this thing and it's incredible. And they're going to use it. So yeah, I mean, you can look at you take like Clint Eastwood or somebody like that, put him back in front of the screen and make him look like he's 30. They're doing more Dirty Harry movies. I don't know. It'd be incredible. The options are endless.
Or maybe bring back Princess Leia and have someone look like.
She's gone.
I know, I get, but the computer graphics could make the actress that is presenting her look like her.
Right. I don't know how it works that way, but
I don't know. Anyway,
it was Mark Hamill.
It not be okay, basically. And this is the topic of the show. I did an interview a little bit like a couple days ago on a Clubhouse room by my friend Jason Thomas. Kirk, thank you for showing up there. And the topic resonated with everyone because it's okay to not be okay. Ending the stigma on mental health is what the purpose of our show is about. And on Monday, the February 7th, Ed, come back. It's not 27th. Will be the 27th anniversary of my mom's death. 27 years ago. Like I had to use the calculator. Like, okay, February 7th coming up, and like actually use the calculator to see how many years it actually. Because the math was like hard to do in my head. Like 27 years. Wow, that's like a long time. And then I was having these dreams because I've been talking about it so much, and normally I don't think about it. Like but in my dream last night, it was really weird because I don't normally dream about her, and I was mad that they weren't there. She had missed my 40th birthday, and I was throwing cake at her, and it was like, I don't know, this is a dream, okay? And after being interviewed about this and having to talk about how the stigma and mental health and why this all started about losing my parents when I was young and all this stuff, probably subliminally brought up some things that, like, maybe subliminally, I'm angry that they missed those things, Yeah. Even though I wasn't mad at the time, missed them, but wasn't mad. But in my dream, I was a little kid and mad that she missed my 40th birthday, but I wasn't 40 in my dream.
Oh, that's funny.
So
it's kind of, I know for a lot of people, I know my mom lost her mother when she was really, really young. So she was 16 and it was cancer. And to this day, she still misses her mom and dad and, I don't think that is something that ever goes away. And as you were saying earlier, it's okay to not be perfectly okay every single day. Mm-hmm. And, especially
it creeps up on you. Like I was interviewed on a show, it's okay to not be okay. So being the guest is different than hosting the show. So I had to be I didn't have to be, but I was completely transparent. And then I realized after an anniversary of a death, but after 27 of them, it doesn't but it's been brought up, so my brain's processing these things,
I think it's triggers is what
Yeah.
happens is I just recently lost a very good friend of mine. In September we're all huddled around on Sundays watching football in September, and we're watching, and my friend says, I'm going to eat this sub, but I just haven't been able to hold anything down lately. I don't know if I got a flu bug or what's going on.
It's grief.
And then a month later, he was gone with some sort of radical liver cancer. And we're sitting there like we're watching games, and we're sitting there going, or something like so whatever event that came up on Facebook. I'm like, man, that was only a year ago, and it's just I can't believe that that's gone by that fast, and you don't realize that because you try to move on with your life, but then there's certain triggers that, whether it's an event or it could be a song, it could be anything that those things happen, and you kind of get down about it. I mean, watching football this year has not been the same since September on Sundays. Well, no, it's kind of sad because
I laugh because we all have our grieving, we all have our things that we grieve about.
But we went through Thanksgiving, the same thing. We were all together last year for Thanksgiving. This year we were not. Christmas, the same thing. Inside of a year, you never know. You just never know. I mean, with your health and life and stuff like that. But like I said, it could be
no one.
Just be a trigger of some sort. Yeah.
Ed, thank you for actually using the word trigger.
Wait.
The way it's intended to. Because I know,
sorry, finish your sentence.
Oh, no, I was going to say,
I have not formally introduced you.
That's okay. I figure we just may as well just jump
Welcome
in.
to Moments of Clarity, my good friend and former co-host of Beyond Clarity, and he's an award-winning and nominated author. Did co-hosted Beyond Clarity with me for about 2 years on live radio, Tan Talk, and knows a lot about mental health. Welcome to Moments of Clarity, Kirk Patrick Miller. Sorry, it just occurred to me that I was like,
oh no, that's okay. I figured
everyone knows who you are anyway. In fact, if you do this in the chat, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Summon Innovation says, Kirk, you're my favorite guest. You have great taste. I think it's meant taste on all the topics takes on all the topics you all talk about. And then a double high five, or what is that?
I think that's a high 10.
High 10,
there, but
high 10.
I would
going
through so much.
Thank you for watching on Facebook. He said, so true, Ed. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, well, especially, and Ed, just really quickly, is that something that comes up every time you're watching a football, or is it just certain teams?
Like I said, it could be a song. I mean, my friend Matt had a favorite song, and you hear that, or you mean a grocery store and see a turkey laying down, and gee, we didn't do it this year because Matt wasn't here. Just little things. It's not something I walk around in the fog. I miss my friend, but it's you try to get over it and live on. But there's always going to be something that's going to remind you. You'll be watching a TV show or whatever, or voicemail. There was another thing. I'm going through my voicemail, and I don't tend to delete them, and I hit it. And how weird it was, just Matt, hey, when are you coming over? Blah, 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 blah. And I never erased it. I never will, but it's just,
you got to keep playing it every now and then, because I had one from my father and my uncle that I would just never, and after a year, they deleted it. So if you keep replaying it, push play, even if you don't listen to it, at least it happened to me, because they delete old messages if they're not played within a certain time period.
Well, there's a few in there that are quite a few years old. I wish they would have deleted, but
I'm talking about, okay, so I'm, like I said, I'm hitting a 27th anniversary. Things might have upgraded back then. Yeah. 22 years with my dad, 23.
And one of the things you were talking about also, I was going to chime in, but I didn't want to you're talking to your guest yesterday about she had lost her husband, coming home from the grocery store in the car and grieving with that. But another thing, and I typed it in there, is pets, because I personally have not lost until this recently somebody really close to me. I've not lost a family member yet, and I think pets are the worst.
Yeah.
Because me being single for a while before getting married and everything, I know it's a dog, but that dog was there every day for 15, 16 years, and you get used to it. And it's so hard to get over that
Still like
grief.
your dog more than
But
your
I,
life.
and I've had 3 dogs in my life, 3 that have gone, and each one was different, and each one was harder. But and if it helps anybody, but honestly, when you have them cremated, to me, getting the ashes back and the dog being back in the house, even though in that state, helped. Really did. I felt at ease.
Yeah, you have the
Good for
option to
you.
do that. And
I love pets.
Yeah,
they're
it's
our
so hard.
children, and it's sad that we have to outlive them as well. That's one thing. I had Angel Ruiz on the show, remember, and she had Sergeant Pepper, Sergeant the parrot, and remember we had to like be prepared for the drop button because the parrot said bad words. Remember, Ed?
Oh yeah.
Macaws live longer than human beings. So in her will, she has her kid, her daughter, and then her grandchild willing to take care of it because the bird's going to outlive her. It's kind of, and what's weird for me is in a few years, in about 5 or 6 years, I'll be the age my mother was when she passed.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
that's going to be weird if I last that long, like to be older than the first person that died in first trauma. Like, and then as I keep
Wow.
going,
Well,
I know
like
she
Ed
was
said,
35.
there's always something. And, I mean, I know for me, typically like every day is going to be a little bit of a struggle for, I think, everyone. We all have rough days where we wake up and just things go wrong. I know for myself, definitely anxiety. Like this morning, I woke up and my one pair of headphones wasn't working. So I was all panicked about just how to connect to the computer. My panic attacks start off really small and they snowball into such big things. And owning it and being okay to talk about it actually is really helpful. It's empowering to kind of be open and honest about what you're going through. And especially when people are out there and willing to respond and reciprocate some empathy and compassion. So, just having the dialogue, like what you just said about your mom, and then Ed, what you were talking about with, losing a pet. Those are all things, whatever we talk about that's drug about it, for me, it always feels like a little bit of a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. And I feel less alone too, especially when, I can absolutely empathize. I love my dog, and, every time we have to even thinking about losing the dog for me is actually painful. So I'm so sorry for your loss on that and for your
When
friend.
did you lose your pet or your dog, Ed?
Well, yeah.
Ed.
Oh, she's which one?
Are any of these
Misha.
recent?
To me, they're all
before
recent. To
puppies,
tell you the truth, they're all recent to me. When I remember each one of them. I mean, Misha was
were there the puppies
2000.
that are in the studio when I've been
No, they're still alive. No,
Okay.
those are.
Okay.
Yeah, Misha was 2012. DJ was 2001 or something like that, and
I started in 2015 January, so I hadn't met them yet.
But when you're grieving on something, it's hard to find. Like you say, you want to find somebody to just kind of let it out to. It's hard to find somebody, or to kind of put that on, bring them down, because you're thinking, well, if I tell them, then it's going to bring them down. If I'm sad, they're going to make them sad. So sometimes, if I get into that situation, something I like to do is just get in the car and drive with the music on.
Yeah,
and
me too.
lose the thought, or get over the thought or something
Well,
like that to that effect.
It was
that it
funny
works for you. That's awesome.
this morning. It was kind of humorous with Kirk was he was using these headphones, and he was like, so we're sitting in the link, and he's got these headphones on, and he's like, I can't hear you. And I'm like, check your settings, but I'm not realizing that he can't hear me, right? So then I'm like trying to text him, and he's like, and you could tell when Kirk's panicking, his eyes look like my cat. I don't think she blinked, but she goes, like she has her eyes really wide, and Kirk gets that look on his face, and I'm like, can you chill out a little before we go on live air? But he can't hear me, so I'm sitting there going, check the input output, and he's going, I can't hear. What am I doing? Whatever. And it was so funny. It was almost like a comic show because I'm sitting there telling him what to check, but he can't hear me, and then I'm hearing him go, I can't hear anything. I don't know what to do, and I'm sitting there telling him, but he can't.
It was like a self dialogue, and you were
Yeah.
responding.
It was funny. Like I was trying to tell you, but you couldn't hear me. And then
Trying to
you were telling me
relive.
you couldn't hear.
What time does the show start?
I
Exactly.
was trying to text, do everything, all this stuff. But yes, pets are another way to say it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to grieve your children. I mean, that's the one sad thing about having a pet is like,
Well, and it goes
for
to
a
family
cat.
members too, family members and friends, everything. I have been in a situation that I have not really lost anybody that was really close to me yet.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, careful. Stop saying that.
well,
Just
yeah,
saying.
no, I'll get wood running, knocking wood. So.
All right.
There you go.
Hey, well, it's time for a break. We're kind of a little late for the break, and I love this conversation where it's going, and but we gotta try to keep on track. But it's okay to not be okay, and ending the stigma on mental health with Kirk Patrick Miller, and we will be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. So please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
If you're a show host, gamer, live streamer, podcast host, or radio show host that would like your message to get out and reach up to 30 platforms, then there's an affordable way to do that. It's called Restream. Restream makes it easy to broadcast professional live videos from your browser to multiple social platforms at once. Start your live show with guests, brand it with logos and overlays, and create an interactive experience for your audience. Learn more at Restream.io and mention Moments of Clarity for special offers.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werhner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werhner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American Odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werhner.
Hello, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're talking about it's okay to not be okay. And if you missed the first part of the show, Monday is the 27th year anniversary of when my mother passed away 27 years ago, which kind of like, it's just weird when it gets to that high a number. And I was without them longer than with them. But um, anyway, and talking about losing pets and grief and loss, and kind of piggybacking off of the yesterday show of a woman that Holly Dunstan, Heidi Dunstan, who had lost her husband like the day before her birthday party, and everyone was there, and just tragedy and things like that happen to all of us, whether it's a natural tragedy, post-traumatic stress, sudden loss, grief, and everything. And my guest today, award-winning author, violinist, music teacher, he suffers with a plethora of mental health illnesses and is not afraid to talk about them. I don't like even reading them out because
There's so many. There's a
I
lot.
think there's a
So,
few that you don't list there. Just saying.
well,
I can tell you because I do it to myself. Like I can tell you I have ADHD, anxiety, PTSD, but there's more. I don't know. Anyway,
I have so many, it's hard to count. So, one thing that I do feel really proud of is that some of those things I can kind of set to the side and they no longer define or control or like rip my life apart. So, bipolar was something that, pretty much tore up my life in every facet, whether it was relationships, whether it was a job, trying to get through school. I mean, it was just a daily disaster. And, with proper management and therapy and stuff like that, I got to the point where that's actually in the back burner. So, even though I'm diagnosed with bipolar 1, I kind of like to think like that's kind of in my rearview mirror. I have to keep an eye on it, and I never want it to come back or never want to deal with it again. But, slowly, one by one, I'm kind of trying to deal with them. The one I struggle with the most right now is OCD and generalized anxiety. The anxiety is really hard for me. And part of it too is the OCD is kind of attached. So just actually yesterday, I had a slight breakthrough where I realized unless I do the impossible every single day, I feel like a failure, which isn't even realistic, so unless I'm doing like a painting, writing a chapter in a book, and then I go to teaching, and then I
isn't
have
that
this huge
weird
list.
that we feel
Yes,
like if we are self-caring or taking a break to watch a movie or not doing something very challenging that we feel lazy or something? Because I struggle with
exactly.
that too. It's like instead of working on client notes or whatever, I watched a movie. And I was like, why do I feel lazy? Like I'm not accomplishing anything. Like, that's a problem
Yeah. Well,
that
and
I
for
have to be
me,
aware of because I have the social media, friends to support, my own children, my family, and then the radio show, and then the counseling center, and then clients, and my private practice,
the list
and
builds.
and and and
uh,
so yeah,
yeah,
but and then I like to play like video games and just mind erasing stuff, or I don't know, just I try not to go on social media like Facebook or whatever because I'll fall down that rabbit hole.
yeah,
And so my friends that did you see my post? Like no, because I, the algorithm sometimes they're not even showing up on my even if I'm looking through if out of 5,000 or something I don't.
yeah.
I mean I need to be tagged on something to actually see it. But
Well, even that causes anxiety for a lot of people too. I know for me, like, I don't like going on Instagram and Facebook because as soon as I'm there, it shows I'm there. And a lot of times I only have like, 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm checking it in between a client and then in between a student or,
mine
um,
says I'm on all the time because I'm logged in on the laptop and the phone. So unless I
yeah,
log out, which I hate doing because then I have to remember the password or whatever, it just says I'm on. People think I'm ignoring them or something. I don't know, but
that's the reason I actually like Twitter because I can hop on for a few seconds and then I don't feel like I'm, I'm never trying to avoid somebody, and I'm always trying to help and support. And I feel a lot of pressure actually from social media to hop on there and then, see all of my friends, what they posted, go through it, comment on it. And I honestly just don't have the time. And I've learned I still need to do a much better job about learning to say no, because I'm very bad at that, number one. And I know
But
you have
it's not
ADHD.
be okay.
Yeah, well, I, after the fires, one thing is right
Yeah, okay,
now,
so wait, let's pretend people don't know what happened to you. This is a big deal.
okay,
You
so
showed up to my 600th episode at someone's house because, like, according to what your mom told me, people were just knocking on the door saying, "Get your stuff, get out. There's a fire" in Colorado. Which, ironically, when the fire finally went out, it started snowing. It's like
it snowed literally
the,
the day after the
the day
fire.
after. So
It's so
tell them about the
tragic.
story. That's traumatic.
So of course, the Marshall fires that took down, I think it was the most costly fire in Colorado history and one of the largest ones. But we had like hurricane force winds, so they were around 100 miles an hour, and it was dry. It hadn't snowed. There was not enough moisture, so it took out around 1,200 homes. And my sister's home, she lives fairly close, and so we all had to evacuate. Her home is pretty damaged with smoke damage, so they can't even be there right now. The water still smells like ash, which is really odd, but we're all living in
Ash,
the same place right now.
right? Just letting
Yes,
Ed know.
ash, ASH. So it smells honestly like smoke. So if you turn on the faucet, you can smell like fire. It's really
Wow.
odd. It's getting better, but and we tried like a Brita filter, we tried some other things. You can still smell it. But because my sister was displaced, she and both of my nieces we're all literally living in the same place right now because we don't have an option. It's the best choice. And because of that, I can take ADHD medication that helps me stay focused, but that sets off my anxiety. And that kind of offsets the medication I take for my OCD. So I'm in this really weird place where I'm honestly bouncing around each day, and, my moods are staying stable, but, the panic attacks have come far more frequently. And they're not fun. I'm getting better about breathing.
Mhm.
And one thing I've been trying really hard to do is focus on everything that's happening right now is okay. It's as it's meant to be. That may not be true. It may not work for everybody, but for me, at least, it gives me one less thing to worry about. Like, okay, so I didn't get to this 6 million projects here. I can breathe because maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe I was supposed to, read an article that helps me with those projects later on. So it's, I'm trying to find some different coping mechanisms. And, I continually do so, for everything I deal with, including the physical one that I deal with, which is like, chronic pain from a rare autoimmune. That's why I have like a spot on my nose. I'm wearing a hat too, because my head's filled with blisters right now. And those things, I face a lot, but one thing that does help is having great friends and then people that support. A lot of times I really don't need somebody to understand or anything, just for them to say, you know what, I'm so sorry. Or, just even a little bit of kindness goes such a long way. When somebody's having a rough day, that one person that comes up and says, oh, you know what, you look, it doesn't have to be about looks, right? But any compliment, like, oh, I loved reading your article or your blog, or somebody caught me the other day on social media and they said, I loved your book and your paintings. And it caught me at the perfect time because I was kind of in a sour mood anyway. And it was just such a nice compliment. They didn't need to do that. They weren't asking for anything. It was just a kindness. And those little things can help people so much.
You can definitely read on your face. Well, I've just known you for so long. I kind of, like, while you were talking, tried to run to my home office to find this drawing. No, I'm not an artist like you, but I use it with my clients. and it's an envelope. And I mean, I'll try to find it on break real quick, but it's an envelope. I folded it in half, but one side is a little stick figurine. Because bear with me, I'm not going to quit my day job. But he's got a little like cloud above him, and in the cloud said, "I'm going to take one thing at a time." And I say, he's being mindful, mindfull, and he's happy, and he doesn't have big angry fists, and he's on his face. One thing at a time. Today's going to be okay. Then his counterpart, I flipped the folded envelope over, and this stick figurine has mad, angry face. He's got fists, big hands, and in the cloud above him is what ifs. I should be doing. I could have. I have to. What if? Fear of the unknown. Fear of whatever. Fear. Oh my gosh, I have to do this, and I have mind, and then a capital FULL. So like instead of mindful, it's mindful of everything, and angry, anxiety, all that crud. So we can stay mindful and be like do it on purpose, or we could be the other guy with the angry fist and all crazy looking. Like I hate the word crazy, but he looks like he's gonna lose his head, and because he's mindful. And then when we were like that, those are ways that for me, what helps is to take on my Google Docs, I do a to-do list of things, and I like to color it in yellow when it's being worked on and highlight it in red to show that I've accomplished it. And then if something else comes to mind, I need to get that done, I just add it to like I do one thing at a time, and I can see the progress. Like I don't delete the ones because I like to look at the ones that are
That's
red.
a great suggestion. That would be because I used to use Post-it, so I'd write everything down and crumple it up and toss it, because
then the wind blows or whatever. And
yes, but I think the document's probably a little bit more secure.
Well, Google Docs, you can just add to it, add and delete, and it just saves, and it's just.
I'm going to try that. That's a great suggestion.
You don't have to copy and paste and whatever. You just add and delete to it.
And please send me a picture of that too, because for me, that is a perfect representation of what happens to me. Because a lot of times when
you want to see my,
I would love to see that drawing.
That's
such a perfect description too. No, the drawing, like the mindful.
Oh, well, I'm going to find it now. Let's take our break. I'm going to go see if I can find it because it's in the other room. I'll show you that. I'll be right back. It's time for our break anyway. And we'll be back with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Are you having trouble staying sober after you've completed rehab and need a positive environment to help you continue sobriety? At Real Recovery Sober Living, we strive in both community and environment for men in early sobriety to help support you while in early recovery. For only $750 a month, we cover everything you need when it comes to a safe, clean, and accountable environment necessary for success in sobriety. Check out our website at realrecoveryfl.com. That's realrecoveryfl.com. We have 6 locations in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Brandon, North Tampa, and Bradenton, because everyone deserves a quality, sober living.
Hi, this is your host, Tiffany Werhner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I want to thank you for all your support on ending the stigma on mental health for over the past 7 years and with over 600 episodes, as well as several award nominations and placing as a finalist in 3 categories on the People's Choice Podcast Award last year. If you're listening to this on audio, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and enjoy viewing previous shows in case you missed any live. If you're interested in advertising and would like to promote your company, it is affordable and an effective way to get your company the attention it deserves. I also welcome potential guests as well, and all information can be found on my website at mocwithtiffany.com. Thank you again for your continued support, as change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Werhner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hello, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And with me today is Kirk Patrick Miller, a good friend of mine and former co-host of Beyond Clarity, does a lot of radio shows, and I always love having him on because we're planning to do a show together in a bit, and we just can talk all day about mental health. Welcome back, well. Kirk Patrick Miller. So really quick, I hauled butt into my, and this was hard to find, but for virtual listeners or audio listeners, if you want to see my artwork, you're gonna have to go to youtube.com/ just look up Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, and you could fast forward to this hour. And granted, don't worry, I'm not gonna quit my day job. But so this is, we call him Seymour because he's seeing more, and his alter ego is Seymour Butts, a kid named him. So you see, he's happy, and he's like, he's mindful, and one thing at a time. See, I want to be that guy, right? Or you could be Seymour Butts, mindful, and he's angry, and his big fist, and should have, would have, I can't. You get it? Yeah. Mindful, like the full of stuff, rather than being mindful, and that's dialectical behavioral therapy, kind of.
I love that drawing, and it's, none of us can be perfect.
Done so well, and it's done on an envelope, the only paper I could find.
No, seriously, that's a great.
I was trying to make a point with a client, and then I started needing it, having to use it over and over again. I could probably redo it, but it's.
I'll do something for you.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like that it's gone bad because it's just. I'm not trying
cute,
to.
It's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
it's actually really helpful. It's a great message, and
during a session, I'm like, hold on, I'll explain it, and I just drew it, like whatever I could find. But it's been used a good 45 times at least since I did it.
There was like the mindful, like being worried about what could have, what should have, what I think a lot of the things when we get lost, kind of trapped in our past, it's a struggle to move forward. And that's another thing, that has helped me a lot, is to realize that, our past shapes us and we get control of how we act in the now. So in this moment, in the next moment. And, as one of our listeners pointed out, Matthew Weatherford, he said, we can't be strong all of the time.
On the comments?
Yeah, it's in the comments. And it's a great comment because
let me find it.
See, it says we can't be strong all of the time.
Hi, Matthew. Thanks for watching on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a great comment.
We can't be strong all the time.
No. And
in fact, when we're weak and transparent, that's when we can make ourselves stronger than as is.
Yeah.
When we fall apart and not fall apart, but set ourselves back and are transparent and lean on someone and that's when you feel stronger than you did before.
Yes. So overcoming something, it's like a broken bone, right? I mean, you break a bone, it grows back stronger. I feel like the same is very true for mental health and some of the struggles that we face. Each time, a lot of them are not, none of them are fun to go through. And, especially in a really dark place, I know we lost somebody just, I think this last week, for the former Miss America model who committed suicide. When we're in that really dark place, it's hard to see that we can get out of it.
I didn't see that on the news. It's sad to see.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk
So
about suicide today, and then
that was, yeah.
your catchy little slogan was in my head while I was trying to get ready.
I can't believe that rhymed.
Suicide, it's on the rise and so stigmatized. And I was like, it's on the rise and so stigmatized. It's on the rise and so stigmatized.
You're like, did you mean to rhyme that? I was like, no. I was like, oh my goodness. So,
I couldn't get out of my head. Not the suicide. It's on the rise and so stigmatized. We could do that as a part of.
It's a great saying. Most of the mental health stuff we can use that for.
Yeah, it's on the rise and stigmatized. I'm gonna come up with a little like rap thing like that Jason promoted with the graphics. Like
there you go.
When he played this thing.
That was strange.
Hmm.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So, one of the reasons I
see that promo I just played for 12 seconds.
Oh, that was perfect. Yeah, I did see that. I was like, okay, what happened? So I thought I'd done something wrong. With regards, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it is as we're coming out of this, and hopefully sooner rather than later, as we come out of this pandemic, the mental health of everyone is definitely in tatters, to be completely honest. And one of the things that's so chilling about when you see someone with that kind of success taking a life-ending action, it's so sad. And at the same time, it also shows us that depression, mental health issues do not stigmatize. They don't, and they don't discriminate. They're going to find whoever. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy, doesn't matter if you're famous. There is no way to completely avoid, some dark times that we all face. And that's why it's so important to, definitely seek out treatment. If you're feeling low, if you're feeling like you just can't get enough energy, go seek out a mental health professional, go speak to a counselor. Don't ever be, like we talked about before, it's okay to not be okay. And the whole point of the show was for us to kind of say, listen, if one of the things that I said, and I did a comment on a post on Instagram, and I said, had I actually been successful in my attempt on suicide years ago, I would have never been able to do the paintings I've done. I would have never written, the fantasy book that I wrote or the memoir that I wrote. All of the accomplishments that I've done since that point would have been erased. So
you would have never known me.
I would have never known you. I would have never.
You didn't fail your attempt. You survived.
I survived. Yeah. Well, exactly.
We have to remember that it's not a sign of weakness. It's not selfish. It's a lot of people feel that the world's a better place without them and feel like that.
No one should feel like that. It's
everyone
always has value. There's so many people out there that are loved, and sometimes they don't even know the impact they have on other people. And it's so important for everyone to know each and every day that you matter, no matter who you are, what you're going through, no matter how bad you feel about yourself, you have value. And, it's so traumatic for me whenever I hear about it, because it's something that I can relate to. I know what that feels like when, the world feels heavy, everything's dark, and you don't feel anything. You feel empty. I mean, there's a lot of great descriptions that people can look up, but when you feel like that, it's so hard to just see the light. And for me, that's one reason why I try to stay positive and I try to focus on something positive every day. Even if my day's completely haywire, I try to, at the end of the night, before I go to bed, try to think of one thing that I'm really proud of or grateful for. So being grateful has really helped me, kind of stay a little bit more grounded and in the moment. And having discussions like this where we're open and talking about really important topics honestly and transparently, as you mentioned before.
The more we share our story, the more we heal. I was on an interview. Thanks for being there to listen on Jason Thomas, his clubhouse, the dark side of entrepreneur, his dark side room, his clubhouse room, the dark side of entrepreneurship. And I hate being the guest. I mean, I don't mind. It's just that after being a host for so long, and I've been a guest quite a few times, it just feels like my story's on repeat sometimes. But you got to tell your story to get people to understand why you do what you do, that kind of thing. It's always nice having people interview just because some people don't know me, whatever.
Don't know your backstory. And thank you for sharing that. I know that was not easy to talk about. And
talk about what?
The loss of your mom. I mean, everything you talked about that day.
27 years. I remember that day specifically, the day I found her. It's imprinted in my brain because that's the trauma. But I look at it different now. I'm always love her and miss her. But I guess subliminally, maybe all this talking about it, and with the anniversary coming up Monday of 27 years, maybe my dream is telling me I'm a little angry about it, which is one of the stages of that. But I'm in acceptance, but maybe a little bit behind me, it's still mad that all these things have come so beautifully in my life, like my children and accomplishments and friends and whatever, and that she wasn't around to see them. It's not her fault.
And even if there is a little anger, if you hadn't talked about it, you might not have even recognized that. And that's why I appreciate this show, what you do, being able to get people to talk about things that are really important, because it helps us all become more aware of ourselves, the struggles other people go through. And again, not feeling alone. No one's alone. If you're out there suffering and you're dealing with something, I guarantee you there's a lot of other people that are going through some similar things and are there to listen and try to support you too.
We got 3 minutes left. Thank you for saying that, Kirk. Honestly, I don't even feel like it affects me because it happened so long ago and I've told the story so many times, and I feel like I've been in the acceptance phase and time, whatever. But then what Ed was saying, maybe it was a trigger because of the anniversary and then talking about it so transparently when I haven't been interviewed in a little bit, So, but I don't mind sharing the story. It doesn't make me sad. It makes me... And if you hear that interview on Clubhouse, it's on Spotify too. It's called "It's Okay Not to Be Okay." I'm just kind of piggybacking off of that. But I explain that of the process that I went through, that why I got pushed into not giving up and surviving and not victimizing myself. And then I get to find my own family, like you, your mom, and my friends in the audience. And, I get to build who I want my family, not biologically.
Building ourselves up.
And thank you so much for being on the show again.
Always an honor.
This is not going to be the last time, you know that. And everyone in the audience, all the friends, Tan Talk Radio, and everyone that supports ending the stigma on mental health. It's so appreciated. And of course, be kind to yourself and to a stranger. You never know what they're going through. May you have a wonderful weekend. We're on every Thursday and Friday from 12 to 1. Please tune in. And if you want more information, mocwithtiffany.com is the website, and it's all there. Everyone take care.
Now it clicks. Moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Don't put yourself down. time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity.